You know, we try to talk about Charlie Finley in the best way possible because he won five straight division titles, straight world championships, treated his players like crap, but he always had a fascination for pinch runners or designated runners. Now, according to my history and my research and my appreciation of the Oakland players, this guy was the first technical designated runner in baseball history. Allan Lewis, now he's a two-time world champion, very handsome guy, and his nickname, of all things, was the Panamanian Express. Now, Charlie Finley, on one of his many whims, according to the key informational site about baseball, the Society for American Baseball Research, put the Panamanian Express on his Kansas City and Oakland rosters for parts of six seasons, from 67 to 73. According to Lewis, Mr. Finley called me up every time. No reports, no scouts, no managers, just him. An outfielder by trade, he played 156 big league games, but appeared just 10 times in the field with 3 starts. The speedster scored more runs, 47, and stole more bases, 44, than he had plate appearances with 31. He was part again of 2 World Series champs, 72 and 73. Later as a scout, he signed numerous key players for Oakland, including Carlos Reyes. Now, born December 1941, but although some sources show the year as 1937, he came up through the Oakland system. Now, he held the all Oakland A's player record at one point for most stolen bases in the season. He had 116 for the Leesburg Athletics in 1966. Now, playing in the Oakland minor league system that year, Lewis also led the league that year in runs and hits with 156. That November, he played in a different winter league than he would usually do, Nicaragua. He was supposed to return to Panama when the season opened there December 1st, but the league was reduced to just 3 teams. Thus, he stayed with the Granada Sharks, where he tied with Doug Rader for the league lead in runs scored. Now, when Lewis captured Charlie Finley's fancy, Finley dispatched his manager of the year, Alvin Dark, to Nicaragua to scout Lewis. Then the owner ordered them to make a command appearance. In a press conference, Finley grandly announced 2 things: a new dimension in baseball in the pinch running person of Al Lewis, and 2, that the Kansas City A's would wear white shoes for the first time. The club's fastest man, Bert Campaneris, and Lewis got special soft light pairs. Newspapers carried the story of the albino kangaroo kicks with a photo of grinning Finley and Lewis on January 7, 67. Now, Alvin Dark basically didn't want to do much for him, but he appeared on the opening day roster. In his debut on April 11th, he ran for Ed Charles in the 7th, and Cleveland Steve Hargan promptly picked him off for his base. The first time I went in, everybody's waiting to see me. I took my league, and Hargan picked me off just like that. I froze. I just stood there and watched. Now, in late April, though, Dark was towing the party line. A stand-up base runner can give your team a tremendous lift during the 8 to 9 innings of a close game. He raises the devil with the opposition and sets up runs that can win you the squeezers. This is a specialized age. We can use specialized players. He was eventually optioned to Double-A Birmingham in late June because the team needed more pitching. He was recalled in July but sent down again in August, having stolen 14 bases and 19 tries. The winter of 68, he returned to Panama and won the league batting title at 374. Now, the remainder of Lewis's U.S. pro career resembled the 67 season. A quick recap will suffice for the summers of 68 through 71. Birmingham in 68 through early August, then up to Oakland, where the A's had moved that year. In 69, the Iowa Oaks, Lodi, so I can load that again, and stints with the big club in June, August, and September. Al Speed and daring made him a great crowd pleaser, said Oaks general manager Bob Morris that June 12th. In 1970, Iowa, then Oakland, August, and September. After Lewis got picked off base twice in September, one sarcastic newspaperman quipped, "The Panamanian Express is a local that stops between first and second." However, on September 27, starting in left field at Anaheim, Allan hit his 1 Major League homer off the Angels' Greg Garrett in a 9-4 loss. Now, unfortunately, 71, Lewis broke an ankle in spring training and was reassigned to Double-A Birmingham. He saw no big league action that year. Now, by the 72 and 73 seasons are worthy of more attention because Lewis got to appear in the postseason. In 72, he remained at Birmingham until Oakland recalled him in September. His last of just 6 major league hits came on a December 29th start. Lewis was not on the playoff roster, but after Burt Campaneris threw his bat at Tigers reliever Larry LeGros, he was activated. He called him in case Campy was suspended. Instead, Roger Jackson tore his hamstring in the last playoff game while sliding home on a double steal, and Lewis, with the 2 openings, went to the World Series. Now, sharp-tongued manager Dick Williams jibed. He's a switch hitter. He batted .300 last year, 150 left-handed and a 150 right-handed. Still, Lewis wasn't lacking in confidence. He boasted, "I'm not afraid of Reds catcher Johnny Bench. He should be worrying about me." Williams sent his 25th man in to run for Mike Epstein in both of the first 2 games, which anchored a hulking first baseman, and Bench cut Lewis down. Sports Illustrated writer Ron Fermariti said the Express ran on schedule in both series games, and both times was derailed by perfect throws by Bench. In Game 4, however, Lewis scored a tying run on Gonzalo Marquez's bench single in the ninth. You can see that on YouTube. He appeared in 6 of 7 series games, also scoring in a decisive Game 7. Now, Lewis was backing Birmingham once more in 73 after dislocating a shoulder near the end of the spring training. Fans voted him the team's most popular player. When Oakland called him back up in June, irking Captain Sal Bando, who stated that more fully rounded players were more deserving. In retrospect, though, author Bruce Markison noted that Bando and Williams both saw some merit to Finley's notion. Allan was sent down at the end of July again and once more recalled when the roster was expanded in September. Again, he got to appear in the postseason as Finley pulled strings. As it turned out, Charlie O outmaneuvered herself when he sought to banish second baseman Mike Andrews after 2 costly errors in Game 2 of the World Series. Commissioner Bowie Kuhn denied Finley's request to replace Andrews with Manny Trio. Now, according to a story by Ron Bergman in the Oakland Tribune, the A's worked themselves into the predicament by selling Jose Morales to make room for pinch runner Allan Lewis, a Finley favorite on the 25-man roster. 2 days later, Bill Nort sprained his ankle. The Orioles allowed Trio to replace Nort for the AL playoffs, but when the A's found out the Mets wouldn't agree to the same switch, an attempt was made to get Morales back from Montreal. He didn't clear National League waivers because some team claimed him. Ironically, the Mets allowed the A's to replace Nort with Lewis. He pinch ran in 3 World Series games, scoring a key 9-inning run to help save Game 2 to extra innings. Now, after the A's won their second of 3 straight championships, they voted Lewis only a 1/10 series share. In December, though, the team assigned him outright to Tucson. He never played again. Around that time, Commissioner Bowie Kuhn was talking up the possibility of his designated runner rule, and in March 74, Charlie Finley signed Olympic sprinter Herb Washington to be Oakland's new pinch runner deluxe. Now, before the 73 season, Lewis had said, "I'd like to go as far as I can with my role and be a scout in Latin America, and being a Latin myself would help. I wrote Mr. Finley a letter last year telling him what I wanted to do." Allan did work as an instructor in the A's minor league system for several years, but then decided to come home to Panama. After he returned, he served as a scout for the Cleveland Indians, and then, like I said, recruited catcher Ener Diaz from Sodiki for the Tribe in 1990. Now, in January 77, the Phillies hired Lewis as a regional scouting supervisor along with Jesus Mendez and Fred Manrique. Allan's turf was mainly Panama and the rest of Central America, but he also bet the bushes on unusual destinations such as Ecuador. It's also likely that he spent time in Colombia, which shares a border with Panama. Now, he also did some coaching in Panama in 2002. When the nation launched another winter league, he was with Carta Viada Roneros, based in Chiriqui. Despite the support of Major League Baseball, that league lasted just 1 season. In the 2009 World Baseball Classic, at the request of national team manager and fellow big leaguer Hector Lopez, he was on the staff of Panama squad. He eventually retired after a scout after that year. After 2010, stories out of Philadelphia referred to him as a former Philly scout, and I guess at the time he kind of faded away from the scouting. But I remember him in the playoffs, boys. I said to myself, Jesus, where does this guy come from? He's just got natural speed. And Johnny Bench, in that the infamous Game 4 where Oakland went up with a late game comeback. I don't know who the announcer was Kurt Gowdy or whoever it was. He said, if Lewis is in there, we know Dick is serious to win this game. I think he was more effective in that 72 series because Bench didn't really play much against speedsters like that in the National League, although it was fast players like Lou Brock. But Allan Lewis, or some people used to call him Al Lewis, The Quebec announcer would call him Alain Lewis, because you can't say the word Alain in French. It sounds like Allan, like the family name. So they never called him Allan, but Alain. So on the French feed, I remember that like it was yesterday in the last game he played was game 7. He said, here comes Alain, or he said in French, here comes Alain. So it was pretty freaky. So ladies and gentlemen, we're kind of doing some Oakland A's Speedster podcast. We're doing one more, and you know who that's going to be is. We already did Washington, so you know what the fourth one's going to be. I don't have to tell you. So we'll get into that later on this week. If you like what we're doing here with our Oakland A's tribute podcast, my favorite team, baseball team in the 1970s, even though the Blue Jays were good, let us know in a like, comment, subscribe, or share. And don't forget, to win, you got to run. Have a good one.